What do you make of what Rex Tillerson has been saying?
Well, I think it's interesting. Some have suggested that this represents perhaps a departure from U.S. policy, but if anything, this represents a consistency with U.S. policy. We have to remember that as we sit here this evening, the United States government has never declared the Muslim Brotherhood in its totality, to use his words, a terrorist organization. Neither the Obama administration nor the Bush administration nor any U.S. administration. So Tillerson's comments are consistent with U.S. policy vis-a-vis the Muslim Brotherhood, and it's consistent with the prevailing view in Washington. Really among the majority of Democrats and Republicans. There are just sort of fringe elements on the far right in the United States that would like to see the Brotherhood declared a terrorist organization. And Tillerson's comments, frankly, are also, for the most part, consistent with the prevailing view among political scientists. I happen to be pretty familiar with the academic literature on the Muslim Brotherhood, and I'm not aware of a single political scientist who considers the Brotherhood to be ISIS-like or Al-Qaeda-like.
So do you think Rex Tillerson would have had his president's backing when he said these words?
I don't. And frankly, this is not the first time that Rex Tillerson has contradicted Donald Trump. Just last week with the Gulf crisis emerging, Tillerson released comments sort of trying to stay in the middle of the conflict, expressing support for Qatar, expressing the sentiment that Qatar is a very valuable ally of the United States in the fight against terrorism, that it's been cooperative. He doesn't believe, all evidence suggests that he doesn't believe that Qatar sponsors terrorism in any meaningful way. And all of this has pretty much been made public. Donald Trump, on the other hand, for his part, has taken the sort of the other side in all of this, siding with Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Egypt. Donald Trump wants to take a more hardline approach. Rex Tillerson wants to sort of be a statesman, take a more middle approach. So I think this is something that we're going to have to keep our eyes on, this sort of very public differing or difference of opinion between Rex Tillerson and the State Department on one hand and Donald Trump on the other hand.
So how will the Saudis, briefly if you would, how will the Saudis and Egypt themselves be viewing this statement from Rex Tillerson?
The Egyptians and the Saudis won't like it. The Egyptians and the Saudis and also the Emiratis have been lobbying very hard in Washington really for years now, along with the pro-Israel lobby and members of the far right in the United States, for the U.S. to declare the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization. So Tillerson's comments obviously fly in the face of all of that. So this will be viewed quite unfavorably by those countries.
Just a very quick question. I just wanted to ask you about what your thoughts were of these two U.S. Navy vessels arriving in Doha for some exercises. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's more evidence that the view of Rex Tillerson and the State Department, and also the view of the Pentagon, are continuing to prevail over the view of Donald Trump, at least up until now, as we sit here tonight. Again, there's this ongoing sort of differing of opinion, if you will, inside of Washington, but the view that's prevailing is the view of Rex Tillerson and the State Department and also the Pentagon. This joint military exercise is more evidence of that. The Washington Post published a report, a very interesting report, just within the last 24 hours. They interviewed a couple of insiders in the Trump administration who remained anonymous, but they indicated that, as I just said, the prevailing view inside of Washington, or the view, the policy, I should say, of the Trump administration right now is the Tillerson policy. That is the policy that is being implemented. It's not Donald Trump's would-be policy.
Okay, Mohamad Elmasry, good to have your perspective on this. Appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.